Brandina is the talking type, so
yeah,
you will be talking.
She's not going to have her magazine out.
Yeah, no. Welcome to another episode of the Jobology podcast. I'm your host, Brandon, and today my guest is Ada. Ada is I'm going to say hairstylist, but I'm also going to let her kind of explain. Maybe I have the wrong term, but first things first, thank you for being with me today, Ada.
Thank you for inviting me, Brandon. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. We've had Barbara on, so now I feel like we're getting the other side of the coin here with the hairstylist. Is that
Yeah,
what you
I always say hairstylist.
Okay.
I know hairdresser can be thrown out a little bit, but
Yeah.
I'll go with hairstylist.
Okay. I was just going to say hair cutter, but whatever. Okay, so if you had to describe your job. Now, in some cases on Jobology, this is more informational than others because a lot of times people don't know what the guest does. Like they might be like, oh, I'm an executive for but nobody actually knows what that means. Hairstylist, hairdresser, I'm pretty sure we have an idea of what that is. But if you had to describe your job in a sentence, how would you describe your job?
Yeah, I would say that I offer beauty services for people in the San Diego area.
All right.
I primarily do color, hair extensions, and I would say like cuts.
Okay. Out of those three that you just mentioned, what's your favorite to do?
Probably hair extensions,
Okay.
honestly.
I feel like that would be tough. I have no idea, though. Is that like I mean, so here's my experience with salon. My experience with salon is my mom says, hey, I'm going to go get my hair done. And then 8 hours later, she's home.
Yes.
What is going on? Like, what is happening?
Some people have really long appointments.
Okay.
I typically think that the longest appointment I have is maybe like 3-ish hours.
Okay. So it's more just to get away from us.
I think it's to get away from you,
Okay.
specifically.
Okay. That makes sense. All right.
Sandy needs some time off from you, so might as well take the 8 hours while she can.
I get it. Makes sense. I'm going to give you a scenario, and you tell me what you prefer.
Okay.
So I'm out at the gym. I know it's hard to believe, but hey, we can all dream. All right. And for this scenario, let's just pretend. So I'm out at the gym and I've full workout, finished my workout, and I look at my phone and it says your appointment with Ada is in 5 minutes. And I'm like, oh no, I completely forgot about that today.
Okay.
Would you rather have me go, all right, I can make it in 5 minutes. Like it's close, but I don't really have time to shower or wash my hair, and I just finished the gym? Or would you rather have me cancel?
Just come to me,
Okay.
honestly. I have no issues. People come in and always are like, oh, my hair's so dirty or my hair's so this. You're going to get it washed anyways.
Awesome. Well, that's good to know because I would have said I would have canceled. I'd been like, well, I'm not doing this. I'm not going in with this.
No. You can come into me.
Okay.
Gym hair and all.
Fair enough. All right. Okay. Next question is, I know of about a hairstyle trend. I think
Okay.
one.
Okay.
And
What's
this
the
is gonna
trend that you know of?
Oh, this is going to date me here for a second because
Okay.
I also don't know what it means.
Okay.
Ombre.
Okay.
I don't know what that means.
Yes.
I don't know. I feel like that was like a thing years ago.
100% years ago.
What is the next hairstyle trend that's like gonna happen or that is happening or that people should be on the lookout for?
I think people are really moving into more lived in and low maintenance hair nowadays.
Okay, what does that mean?
So I think back a couple years ago, you would come in like every 4 to 5 weeks for your full head of highlights or a partial highlight, right? And you put your highlight like right to the root.
Yeah.
Now it's kind of like you're doing more of this trend called a balayage, which balayage is technically, I know I'm going to really wow you over here with my knowledge.
What language we're even speaking anymore? All right.
So a balayage is technically a technique where you do an open air bleach application, and it's more rooty. So you see their like natural hair at the top, and then it tends to get lighter towards the bottom.
I know what you're talking about. now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
like
you don't have to come in as often to get it done. You can go like twice a year with getting your hair done versus like coming every 4 to 8 weeks.
Okay.
The very first question I always ask clients when they're like new with me is, are you a low maintenance person or are you high maintenance?
Gotcha.
If you're high maintenance and you know that about yourself and you realize like what I'm asking for is a commitment and I should be coming in every 4 to 5 weeks or so,
Okay.
that's fine. I can accept that.
Sure.
But if you're like, I wake up and I put my hair in a bun every day, don't really do much to my hair, why would you want something so high maintenance color-wise or application-wise in your hair is what I think about.
Sweatpants, hair tied, chilling with no makeup on.
Exactly. That's when you're the prettiest.
Okay. So that makes sense. Like because I think I mean, maybe I'm making a jump here, but with athleisure wear, maybe the like not fully done up hair, like it kind of fits. Like it kind of goes with the new trends of like
100%.
comfort over fashion.
100%.
Okay.
And I think it all just depends on what you want at the
Sure.
end of the day. If you want to be high maintenance, fine. If you want to have something more low maintenance, you can still have it look really great and not be something that looks bad or something that you feel bad about or feel like you look lazy.
Okay.
You can still feel like you look put together at the end of the day.
Got it. All right. If I'm coming in to get my hair, first off, can I come in to get my hair cut? Or is it?
If you want to be bald and you're a man, I can definitely give you a haircut.
Fair enough.
If you want to leave with
Some
hair,
style?
I can give you someone else
Okay,
that I can recommend you with. Maybe your
I
barber
like that.
friend could be the person you go to.
Check
but
out Dina.
I don't do men's cuts.
enough.
I feel like I can't envision how I would want a man's hair to be cut, quite frankly.
Okay.
So, but when I look at a woman, I'm like, you would look great with a French bob. You would look great with like curtain bangs.
Yeah.
Like, I can just see it and visualize it a
Okay.
little bit more.
That makes sense.
Versus like a man, I'm like, fades? What are those? Like,
Gotcha.
I don't know what you want from me. Like, I'm just confused.
Okay.
And I'd rather do things that I love to do and I feel passionate about versus just putting services on my board that I'm not so great at and,
Sure.
not comfortable with, quite frankly.
Gotcha. Okay. That makes sense to me then. So I'm going to kick it another scenario then. Let's say Brandina
Brandina, love
wants
her.
to come in and get her hair done.
Okay.
Do you prefer the, experience of you do what you're going to do and I'm going to sit here and read my magazine? Or do you do magazine, by the way? Or do you?
We still have magazines at the hair salon.
All right,
That's
all right,
not too
all right.
far off.
I was like, wait a second. And I break out the newspaper. No, or would you rather have me come in and be like, how's your day going? What? Oh my gosh, what'd you do this weekend? What? Is it more talkative or more quiet? What's your personal preference?
I would say I love to talk. You can ask some of my coworkers. They know I'm a yapper. So
Okay.
I will always love to have a conversation with people. And I think it's a big reason why I even wanted to go into this industry is to be able to connect with people.
Got it.
So for me, I always love meeting new people and chatting with them. But if you want to be silent, that's okay too, girl. Like we can still have a little chit chat here and there.
Fair. Brandina is the talking type, so
Yeah.
you will be talking.
She's not going to have her magazine out.
Yeah, no. And then the last one I have here is, would you prefer me coming in and going, here's what I want, do this? Or would you rather have me come in and go, what do you think? Like, let's work on something together.
I think collaboration is really
Okay.
great because I always tell my clients 10% of it is me. Like, you don't see me all the time.
Yeah.
90% of it really is you. So if you don't know how to style your hair or you're choosing a haircut that's really high maintenance, but you don't even know how to do a blowout on yourself, it's that contrast of being like realistic with what you can do with your own hair while also knowing that I'm here to help you if you need help with, bangs are a big topic
Sure.
of like, how do I style my bangs every day?
Yeah.
Let me send you a video. I got you. You can do this. It's going to be easy. It's not going to make your life harder.
Okay.
So collaboration is my
Got
go-to.
it. Yeah, that one's tough for me because sometimes I'm like, I think I would rather, if I was like a barber, I think I'd rather have the person be like, just do this. Because then it's like less room for speculation or like them being like, oh, wait, I didn't know you were going to do that. Like, it's like, you told me to do this.
I
Like-
also find that men typically know exactly what they want
Sure.
and they go in with an exact vision. And sometimes I have more often than not clients that come in and say, I kind of want to do this, but I'm not 100% sure. What do you think?
Got
So
it.
I think it's both of us coming together.
That makes sense. And I mean, I think women's hair could be a little more complicated than
Yes.
men's hair at times. So I feel like if you came in and were like, I want to do this, and you as the hairstylist go, that's not going to work.
Yeah.
Like, you have curly hair, that's a straight hair. It's not, you know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
vice versa.
Of course.
It's beneficial to, as the client, to be like, I should probably listen.
Yeah. Just sometimes.
Should probably take advice. All right. Okay.
But I'm always open to trying things if someone's really adamant about it.
Nice. How do you become a hairstylist? Is it, I'm assuming there's a school?
There is schooling. So
Okay.
in the state of California, you need to do at least 1,000 hours where you're clocking in and out at the
Oh.
cosmetology school
Got it. Okay.
before you can then take your state board, which is a exam. It has about 100 questions. You need a 75 to pass.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. I would have, that's the part that you said there that I was like, oh, was like, you have to like clock in for your, I
Yes.
would have thought like, hey, I cut Brandon's hair at the house for 2 hours the other day. Count
If
it.
only
Add
it was
it up.
like that.
Okay.
Those
That's probably
1,000
good.
hours feel like a lifetime.
Yeah.
I did it while I was working full time, and I would go to class at nighttime. So Monday through Friday from 5 to 10 p.m. I was there probably cutting your aunt's hair, giving her a root touch up, doing something of the sort.
Okay.
And for any day you miss, you have to make up. And they allow you a certain amount of hours that you can miss without having to pay extra. But if you start missing a bunch of hours, like that's more money that you owe with the school. That's more time you're spending in the school. And it's
Yeah, it's like I already have to spend 1,000 hours.
Yeah.
I don't wanna do the 1,005.
it took me about under a year to
Okay.
finish it.
Okay. That was going to be one of the questions.
Yes.
Nice.
So
Okay.
it's
about a
definitely a huge commitment. Obviously, if you do it during the daytime, you're there for like 8 hours of the day. So
Sure.
you do it a bit quicker. But
Jeez, though.
I
even
mean,
that.
it's a lot. It's you're basically working for free every day.
Yeah, if I was doing 8 hours a day and I did 100 days, I still have 200 hours to go.
Yeah, exactly. It's
right.
very long, and a lot of
Yikes.
people, if you're not passionate about it, will drop out or will
could see
take
that.
longer or take LOAs, and
Yeah.
you just got to get in there and just do it and
Got it.
just tell yourself it's just a year of my life.
And then once you finish beauty school,
Mm-hmm.
do you then just like walk up to salons and be like, I'm done. Give me a chair. Like,
So
how
it
does that
takes
work?
you about 2 to 3 months to get your test.
Okay.
Once you take it, they tell you right away if you pass or fail.
Nice.
So thankfully I passed right away.
Sweet.
For me personally, I wanted to go into booth renting. So
Okay.
that is where I'm paying for all my product, all my color,
Got it.
extensions, everything. And I pay a fee to the salon that I work at to rent out the chair.
Got it.
So
Okay.
I got that opportunity because one of my friends that I went to cosmetology school with works at the salon that I'm at now. But there are some
Okay.
people who maybe they feel like they need more experience under their belt before they
Sure.
can do that. They might go work at like a corporate setting salon, like an Ulta or like a
Supercuts.
Supercuts, exactly. So everyone's different. You can kind of make of it what you want. But I knew for me, I wanted to own my own business and
Got it.
do that 100%.
Okay. So is that the goal? I mean, one of the questions we're going to talk about later is advancement, but is that the goal, is to have your own salon eventually where it's just you're the one selling the chairs?
You know, maybe.
Renting out the
I
chairs?
haven't thought that far ahead.
Okay.
I think right now I'm just so focused on the passion that I
Sure.
have for doing hair that I'm happy to be in the environment that I'm in. I love all the people that I work with. And I'm just having a good time overall. So I don't foresee it as of right now. Right now, I'm just focused on hanging out and doing hair and meeting more people like that.
I understand the like finding something that if you're like, well, I enjoy talking to people, what can I do? That's what I did. I host podcasts.
Yeah, 100%.
Do hair.
And
That's
I think
another way.
this is the first career that I've had where I feel so fulfilled every day when I go into work. And
Yeah.
I think you can definitely relate
That's
to
awesome.
that too. It's a different sense of ownership
Yeah.
when it's your own business versus working for somebody
well,
else.
and then you know, I mean, for us, it's a little different because like it's putting it out on the internet. And so I know like, well, whoever sees it's going to see it. But like for you, it's like, oh, people are definitely going to either ask like, hey, where'd you get your hair done?
Yeah.
Or like, where'd you get your hair done?
Yes.
You know, like,
It
and
could
so it's
be a
like, I
good
don't
or a
want to be
bad
that
thing.
one. Yeah. I just want to be the, oh, go to Ada. Oh, okay, cool. Have you ever really messed up somebody's hair like, not on purpose, obviously.
I don't think anyone ever goes into it with like intentions of messing up someone's hair.
Sure.
I think there have been times where maybe like we toned someone incorrectly, like a little too dark or a little
But like
lighter.
never a slip of the scissors where you're
No,
like,
not
"Whoop,
that.
whoops.
That's the thing that I'm very scared of. And I always tell everyone I'm an undercutter. I would rather you tell me cut more off
Yeah,
than
then put more back.
me cut more off and be like,
Put
sorry,
it back.
girl, I can't pick this up anymore.
Okay. As a hairstylist, what does your average day look like? Are you seeing like how many clients typically do you see? What time do you get to the salon? What time do you end up getting out of there? What does
It
that look
really
like?
depends.
Sure.
I do have a part-time business that I do outside of the hair salon, which is permanent jewelry. So I usually kind of do my schedule at the hair salon around that.
Sure.
So we usually do pop-ups on the weekends. So sometimes I typically work a little bit later, try to be able to get in clients that maybe work 9 to 5 jobs.
Sure.
So then they come see me at 6 o'clock
Yeah.
and they're like, why are you open so late? And I'm like, it's
For
one
this
extra
reason.
client.
Yeah.
Why not? You
For
know,
the money.
Exactly. But
Okay.
I typically work, I would say, consistently like Monday through Thursday, a couple Saturdays a month, and then I honestly do my availability around my clients right now.
Okay.
I am still building up my clientele, so I want to be able to give them a great service, but
Yeah.
also fit it into a time frame that works well for them too.
Yeah,
I'm
makes
pretty
sense.
flexible, like. All I got is my dog. So as long as I can check in on her occasionally, like
Fine.
I'll be fine
Sure.
with anything else. But
Okay.
as for how many clients I take
Yeah,
a day, I would
if
say
you had like a, maybe not the busiest day, but maybe not the least busy, like
yeah,
just like
on
an
average,
day.
like 3 to 4 clients.
Okay.
I think too, sometimes it's really hard on the body to be standing all day and then also doing a service. So I try
sure.
not to overload myself to be able to give the best quality work possible. So for me, like if I did 2 colors and maybe 2 haircuts in a day, that's a perfect day
You're
for
good.
me.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, also, if you're having, like, we kind of talked about the talking and not talking, if you're talking to 3 or 4 or 5 different, it's like, wait, did I tell this story? Did
Yes.
I told you? Who did I tell last? Wait, who are you going on vacation? No, wait,
Yes.
that was the last person on vacation. So, yeah, that could get a little messy.
Oh
I
yeah,
think.
and the
Okay.
stylist next to me, she's been doing hair for 35 years,
Wow.
and she remembers everybody's story. And I'm like, girl, I gotta do notes for this. Like, I have a pretty good memory, but I don't know how she does it.
Yeah.
She remembers
Jeez.
every detail.
That's wild. I have a tough time with memories. So
Yes,
I
me
can't-
too.
I'm not gonna not try and brag there. Okay. If I'm coming in to get my hair cut, styled, whatever, or branding is, what's like, how much is that gonna cost? Like cost? I have no even realm, like to even ask the question to be like, is it between this number? I don't even know what this number to start at would be. I
Yeah.
don't know.
I think for me, I obviously make my own prices
Sure.
since I booth rent there.
Yeah.
I kind of looked at the average in the La Mesa area
Makes
to
sense.
see what other salons were offering to, make sure that I'm still competitive,
Yeah.
but also not feel like I'm going to charge $500 for a
Right.
haircut
And then never have anybody come
and then
in.
never have anybody come
Yeah.
in. So
Okay.
my haircuts, for example, are like 75.
Sure, that's
like
about
a
reasonable.
root touch-up's like 95. It kind of ranges. It
Is
also
that 95
depends.
on top of the 75, or is that 95 total?
So if I got like a root touch-up and a haircut,
Yeah.
you're adding those 2
Fair.
things together.
Okay.
So it's more like a la carte versus.
Oh, okay. So
Bundling.
it's like, I'll take a little bit of this. and a little
Yes,
bit of that. Okay.
exactly.
Sure. I like that. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. And then on that kind of same logic train,
Mhm.
is it, once I'm done, what's a good tip? Like, what should I be? Because, like, I don't, like, 10% seems way too low.
Mhm.
20%, I'm like, that's a restaurant.
Mhm.
But I don't know, is that hairstyle
No, that's a
too?
big conversation in the industry as a whole.
Okay.
I'm a firm believer that I am my own business. I set my own prices.
Sure.
I don't feel like you have to tip me if you don't need to. Because
Okay.
if I wanted to make more money,
You just
I
raise
would up
prices.
my prices.
Sure.
If you'd
I
like to
feel-
trip,
yes.
quite frankly, it's already such a high price service, to be honest with me. So like
Sure.
I think about if you're spending $300 for a haircut and highlights, like 20% on top of that is already like
an additional
additional-
60 bones.
yeah, like that seems like such a huge amount to me. So
Okay.
I always tell people like $20, $30 for whatever you add on
Sure.
to. I'm not really particular. I'm just happy if you come through my door. And my biggest thing is if you refer me to other people.
That's-
I
yeah.
would prefer
That would be a
that
better
over
tip
a
than-
tip any day.
True. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. That's something interesting that I think service industry people, and I mean, I used to work in restaurants, so
Yes.
I completely understand it, is that like referral, or, when it comes to restaurants, maybe not so much, but in a business where it's your own business, your own thing, that like referral can mean way more money down the road than,
Oh,
than a
100%.
$10 tip or a $20 tip.
Yeah.
Restaurant, a little different. I always used to like to say, like, if you're like, you're a great server and then you don't leave me anything, can't really do much.
Yeah.
I can't really go down to the, pay my car payment and go,
Yes,
they said
exactly.
I'm really good. How much is that worth? Okay. I'm assuming that as your own business, you don't have like medical or dent, like that's
No, I
probably
do
just
not.
you, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So
that would be one of the like
cons
down,
for sure.
yeah, or at least, hey, you have to bake that into the price, like to be like, well, if my medical is going to be $10, whatever it is, then you got to bake that into your pricing.
And so for me, I use an app called Square. It takes all my appointments. It has my website. It does everything for me, and it helps tremendously.
That's awesome.
And not only that, but it also has, you can do like automatic savings plans with it as well.
Okay.
So a percentage of all of my sales goes into like my business savings. So I'm not screwed over with taxes at the end of the year. Or some of it goes into like purposes for healthcare for me.
Gotcha.
So I think about those things.
Okay.
But I think in the industry, like you don't always think about those things right off the bat.
Right.
Like they don't teach you in cosmetology school.
The business
Make
side.
sure you take care of your healthcare at the end
or like
of the day
taxes.
too.
You're gonna have to pay taxes at some point. Make sure you put money away. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that does seem like the same thing with podcast is like there's certain things you got to learn on your own.
Yes.
Like you can do, beauty school can only do so much. It's not business school. Like I'm here to teach you how to cut hair. I'm not here to teach you how to do your taxes. Sorry.
Exactly.
You got to figure out how to do it on your own. Okay. Okay. So that's something that I think a lot of people can take of like, all right, if I'm going to start my own business, if this is, hair, whether that's hairstyle, barber, start your own, whatever company, you have to bake in those I know I keep saying bake, but like, you got to bake into those outside costs that maybe aren't like if people go, oh, well, I have to pay for the chair. Yeah, you got to pay for that. But then you got to pay for supplies. Then you got to pay for, taxes or healthcare or, God forbid you're doing something and you get hurt. Well, now I got to go take, now some more money out of the pocket. Okay. So to keep that kind of in the thought process while you're doing this.
Yeah, exactly. And
That's
then
great.
when you're setting your pricing, realizing that just because I charge $75 for a haircut doesn't mean I'm pocketing $75 right away. Like a certain portion is going to the shampoo or the conditioner I used, or like the fact that we get towel service at the salon, or so many of these different things. So it's a bigger conversation that not a lot of people have when you're going to cosmetology school, especially. But then down the line, you realize like, oh,
the first time you get
you're like,
a bill for something, you're like, wait,
I have to buy color. That's how much per box?
Yeah. Ooh. Okay. Interesting. That's something to definitely keep in mind. I think. Okay. Well, that's about it I have for you on the podcast. And the last bit I always like to leave for the guests. So if there's something you would like to talk about, a cause, a small business, whatever you want to talk about, here's your time.
Yeah, I always say that I'm always looking for new clients. So if you're over in the La Mesa area, I am over at Salon Marchesa. We're right off of Baltimore.
Even if you're not in the La Mesa area, just take a trip. Why not?
Go to Costco, get your hair done, and come hang out with me for a couple hours.
Awesome.
Not 8, but we can lie to your husbands if you need to.
Yeah, okay. And then you mentioned your permanent jewelry. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, of course. Me and my best friend Courtney, who has been on the podcast
before.
Has.
Go check that out.
We love Courtney
Singer-songwriter.
So amazing. Love her. My bestie. We recently started our permanent jewelry business. So essentially we offer 14 karat gold or sterling silver chain options, and we weld them onto you. So I'm a part-time welder if you're interested.
Okay.
So we're always doing pop-ups around San Diego. So come check us out, and we probably will have something posted on our Instagram page about where we're at next.
And where can people find you on Instagram?
House of Serotonin, HAUS of Serotonin.
And then if they wanted to like contact you personally on Instagram to make an appointment, how would they find you?
Yeah, so my website is just my first and last name. So AdaHerrera.com. Very easy. My Instagram, Ada Herrera.
Yeah. Everything will be put in the show notes. So if you guys are looking, just click the little show more and it'll give you all that information. I did have a quick question about the permanent jewelry though. Because I was like, permanent jewelry would have the implication that it's permanent.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that probably not, if this ain't lasting 30 years, but like what could be the expectation on like how long something like that should last
I
for?
think for me, like I have a bunch of pieces on me right now. So I've had these guys for about like 6 or 7 months right now.
Dang, that's
this
a lot
one is
longer
a
than I
little
thought.
bit longer. I think a shorter amount of time. I think I've had this for maybe like a month or two.
Okay.
But I think it can be as permanent as you want it to be. Obviously, you can take a plier and cut right through
Well, because I
it.
was also thinking like, what happens if I get this and then the next day I like twist my ankle, I got to do MRI or something, and they're like,
Well, the
I'm like,
materials
what?
that we
Cut that off.
use, as long as it's not on the actual place that
Part?
you were getting the MRI,
Oh, okay.
you can still keep them on.
That's good to know.
Yeah,
All right.
so it's as permanent as you want it to be.
That's
so
great. Well,
we love commitment over here. We love jewelry.
There you
So
go.
why not have it in both forms?
Yeah. Go get your hair cut. Go get a bracelet and call it a day.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for being with us today.
Thank
I really
you.
appreciate your time, and go see Ada, get your haircut. Well, that's it for another episode of the Jobology podcast. Thank you for tuning in. If you guys want to support our channel, please make sure you like, subscribe, and follow at Jobology Podcast on all major social media platforms. Your support means everything. Like we say to end every episode, make good choices.